Welcome to It Ain't Rocket Science. I'm Adam Malkin. Summer is coming to a close, and for students across the country, that means back to school. Just ahead, we'll round up some of the STEM activities you use to round out your summer vacation. We'll check in with a group of students teaming up with NASA to help robots get a grip. Hear from young Rocketeers in California as they get ready, steady, and go for the gusto in the summer rocket program. These are not your mother's Girl Scouts, as the recipe for success here is more about codes than cookies. And there are some bright futures for these teens as they unleash the power of the sun for the Solar Car Challenge in Texas. All this and more in this episode of It Ain't Rocket Science, part of Time Warner Cable's Connect a Million Minds initiative, aimed at connecting you with science, technology, engineering, and math opportunities in your community. Many astronomers got their first inkling of what awaits them in outer space by casting an eye to the nighttime sky and its canopy of stars. And despite all the recent discoveries and revelations, there is no end of things to explore, and it begins with a telescope. Tamani Woolley joined some first-time stargazers for some astronomical fun.
City dwellers brought their cosmic curiosity to New York's Brooklyn Bridge Park. Astronomy enthusiasts gathered at twilight and set their eyes on the sky, hoping to get a glimpse of the heavens. For some, it was their first time peering through a telescope.
You know, I looked through microscopes, binoculars, but never a telescope, and it's actually so graphic when you look through it. It's amazing.
It made me feel exciting because I saw moon craters, and I don't usually get to see that stuff every day. It's like just staring at science.
I was surprised how big the moon was, and I was also surprised that you can see the detail really well, and it's still light out today.
The Amateur Astronomers Association of New York hosts free meetups like this periodically. The events are open to the public, and the astronomers in charge of operating the telescopes are doing this on a volunteer basis, a little moonlighting after their day jobs.
We're not in the habit of looking up, but once you do, and even with a telescope, when you look at the bright planets, you can see a lot of detail in the planets. In Jupiter, Saturn, you can see the rings.
The Amateur Astronomers Association is part of the Astro League, a national organization for stargazing enthusiasts. To find stargazing opportunities near you, check out the Astro League's website at astroleague.org. For It Ain't Rocket Science, I'm Tamani Woolley.
While those students have their eyes to the sky, others have their eyes on the prize, the reward being the chance to work with NASA to design and develop a robot for the future. Taralyn Wagner has a story.
This bot could be the astronaut of the future. PhD and undergraduate students at Rensselaer Polytechnic University in Troy, New York, are teaming up with NASA to develop new, more agile robots to send into space.
So what we need is something more human-like that's kind of floating, hopefully with two arms that can tackle a larger variety of tasks.
The idea of this work being able to keep astronauts from having to be out in the dangerous, doing these spacewalks, having a robot be able to facilitate these motions is very rewarding.
The students received a grant from NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center for their research. They're honing in on robots with dual arm control and teleoperation, all in the hopes of developing a machine that can be operated by astronauts in orbit to service satellites.
Actually having a robot reach out and grab the satellite and pull it into the station, that would change the absolute world, because there's a lot of old satellites out in space that need repair, that need to be serviced.
I don't think I ever would have expected to be able to say that something I worked on would be in space. I like that it's my job to come in here and play with robots every day, and I think that that's a lot of little kids' dreams, and it's something that can be a reality.
Space is the final frontier. It's exciting to be able to contribute to that and allow that to actually progress.
The student work is ongoing, and the robotic advancements they make will hopefully go beyond servicing satellites. NASA is actively applying robotics work to other missions, including the Asteroid Redirect Robotic Mission and the Journey to Mars. For It Ain't Rocket Science, I'm Taralyn Wagner.
In California, middle schoolers are getting a rudimentary lesson in rocketry, and it comes courtesy of the Palmdale Aerospace Academy. Cody Urban has a story.
With the mission to launch kids toward careers in science, technology, engineering, and math, The Palmdale Aerospace Academy hosted the Summer Science Academy.
We have 60 kids here, free will, on their summer break, coming and learning about STEM, and I think it says a lot for our future.
A camp where kids go to do something extraordinary: design, build, and launch rockets.
I've never launched a rocket before. It was my first time, so it was also pretty exciting.
The kids make it look easy, but it really is rocket science.
There's an igniter in there. So we hook to it 2 alligator clip leads from a launcher. And what happens is when they put in a metal key, it completes the circuit. It sends a stronger charge through, and that goes all the way to the actual clips that are clipped to the rocket, which in turn lights the igniter, which lights the propellant. Rocket goes up.
Since shooting rockets is so much fun, it's easy for these kids to forget they're also learning.
I feel so lucky to be in this camp because I learned so many things.
Such as Newton's third law: for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction, as well as learning how to measure the altitude the rockets reach by using an interesting device.
It's like as if you were playing an arcade game where you would hold the plastic guns and then you would just try to aim at it, and then once a streamer would come up, you would let go of the trigger, and then we'll tell you the angle and the height in meters.
While preparing these kids for their next year in school, a camp like this inspires them for their future careers.
I take it as one step closer to becoming an aerospace engineer.
Inspiring the next generation through hands-on learning by having fun. For It Ain't Rocket Science, I'm Cody Urban.
What goes up must come down, and when it comes to perfecting a soft landing on a planet or heavenly body, calculations must be precise. Students in North Carolina tried to bring their version of the Mars lander down on a mark a little closer to home. Sharon Stone has the story.
3, 2, 1, 0.
Even though this Mars lander prototype didn't hit the mark, the students at this camp did. More than 40 of the Triangle's brightest students dove into the world of science during ExxonMobil's Bernard Harris Summer Science Camp. Today's mission was to create the best Mars lander.
Well, we built like if we were actually on Mars, what we would land in.
Teams competed to design a lander to hit a target and protect the astronaut. Well, in this case, a ping pong ball. Some teams had success, some not so much. Former astronaut Bernard Harris says camps focused on science and technology are vital to our community's future.
We're in the 21st century where technology drives everything that we do. So not only is it important that our kids are educated, but educated in the STEM fields.
The 2-week camp offered students the chance to participate in a variety of hands-on activities in varying scientific fields. No matter what the student's goal may be, the camp wants every student to continue to reach for the stars. For It Ain't Rocket Science, I'm Sharon Stone.
All right, we have to stop here for a quick break, but when we come back, from websites to apps, games, and beyond, if you can code, seems like you can crack the job market. We check out how some young girls are getting a jump start on careers in coding. And later, it's a race to the finish as these solar speedsters compete to see whose bright idea will have them crossing the finish line first. To find hands-on science, technology, engineering, and math opportunities in your community, visit theconnectory.org, made possible by Time Warner Cable's Connect a Million Minds.